Welcome to the Chaos Business, where we unravel the hidden threads of corporate history. Today, we dive into the GMO seed trafficking cartel Monsanto and their biological impact on African countries. Monsanto operated as an agricultural company, but it was founded in 1901 as a chemical company. In 1997, Monsanto split the chemical sector of its business into an independent company, Solutia Inc. In 2008, Monsanto agreed to assume financial responsibility for all litigation relating to property damage, personal injury, products liability, or premises liability, or other damages related to asbestos, PCB, dioxin, benzene, vinyl chloride, and other chemicals manufactured before the Solutia spinoff. In the heart of West Africa, Burkina Faso became the stage for an unsettling experiment. Over 500 farmers documented their 2-year ordeal with Monsanto's BT cotton, revealing a stark contrast to the industry's claims of success with genetically modified organisms. This farmer-led initiative, known as BT Cotton and Us, the truth from our fields, countered the narrative as Burkina Faso was thrust into the world of GMOs, becoming the first in West Africa to adopt them. However, the reality was far from the promised success. The World Bank's push for improved seeds collided with the reality of local farmers heavily reliant on traditional varieties.
L'OGM, quand on le plante, une fois poussé, tu as fini de cueillir les racines qui sont là. Les termites même ne rongent pas. Moi, j'ai constaté ça. Alors que le coton conventionnel, une fois que tu as fini de récolter, ça tombe de même, parce que les termites ravagent les racines. Donc, moi j'ai des inquiétudes là-dessus. Pourquoi? Parce que c'est les mêmes produits. Bon, non seulement on récolte les fibres, c'est pour les habits, mais les graines, c'est pour la nourriture. On peut en faire de l'huile, on peut en faire des tourteaux. Bon, alors que du produit qui est là-dedans, que les termites même n'en veulent pas, si toi tu consommes, qu'est-ce que ça va devenir pour toi demain? Moi, j'ai mon inquiétude sur ça. Mais avec l'OGM, on ne peut pas faire de ça. Même si on a semé avec l'OGM, s'il y a un restant de variétés là, il faut jeter ou bien il faut garder pour l'an prochain. Sinon, personne ne peut toucher.
Pourquoi?
Bon, c'est empoisonné.
The Malian government's attempt to embrace intellectual property rights resulted in yearly fees and limited benefits, leaving farmers struggling to adapt to the imposed changes. The inferior lint quality of Monsanto's products and the enslavement of buying expensive seeds and chemicals severely economically impacted local Malian farmers. The disillusionment led Burkina Faso to abandon its GMO cotton venture, a harsh lesson for a country once renowned for its high-quality non-GMO cotton. Moving east to Ghana, a battle unfolded against a plant breeders' rights bill rooted in the UPOV 91 framework. This legislation aimed to restrict farmers' rights further, potentially leading to penalties and imprisonment for sharing protected varieties. Students, trade unions, and small-scale farmers united against the looming threat of restrictive seed laws. Nigeria found itself in the crossroads, with Monsanto seeking to impose genetically modified organisms on its agricultural landscape. Proponents within government agencies advocated for GMOs, while dissenting voices like the Health of Mother Earth Foundation revealed covert, secretive approvals and potential health hazards. Concerns about health risks questionable approvals, and a lobby workshop featuring only Monsanto-approved apologists stirred controversy, pushing Nigeria to reevaluate its stance on GMOs. According to the International Service for the Acquisition of Agri-Biotech Applications, ISAAA, at least 33 major food crops have been genetically modified globally. Of these 4, maize, cowpea, cotton, and soybean, have been officially approved for commercialization on the Nigerian soil by its Nigerian authorities, with Nigeria listed among the 6 African countries leading in biotech crop adoption in the continent. In Nigeria, the debate around GMO food is highly polarized, as it is elsewhere in the world, even in the U.S., where resistance has periled a growing demand for organic foods and clear labeling of genetically modified products. Licenses for the patent genes that African scientists use to modify cowpea crops, for example, were provided royalty-free by biotech companies such as Monsanto, which was acquired by Bayer in June 2018, inviting questions about whether their goals are purely humanitarian or if the gesture is a form of a Trojan horse. The speed with which Nigeria is permitting GMOs is highly suspicious and offers no assurance that the government is concerned about safety and the preservation of the country's biodiversity. In 2016, NBMA, Nigeria's biodiversity management agency, allowed the first set of GMOs into Nigeria by issuing 2 permits for commercial release of GM cotton and the confined field trial of GM maize to Monsanto.
Reliance on genetically modified seeds could pose a threat to food sovereignty, especially for third world countries.
The promises given us from GMOs and hybrids have not really spelled out, because year after year, you use more pesticides, use more herbicides, use more fertilizers. These seeds are owned by foreign companies, and our farmers each time our farmers must plant the seeds, they must go back to that company.
Food has been weaponized, because if you have a scenario where certain people are in control of seed and seed is being patented, and if you do not have the money to do research or to have your patents, you cannot plant, you cannot grow food.
Some food scientists have also raised questions about the health implications of genetically modified crops, which may be unsafe for consumption.
Since acquiring Monsanto, Bayer has since been involved in litigation related to ex-Monsanto products such as glyphosate, PCBs, and dicamba. In 2020 alone, it paid over $10 billion to settle lawsuits involving the glyphosate-based herbicide Roundup. In fact, Monsanto has been sued by a group of Vietnamese for the effects of its Agent Orange used by the U.S. military in the Vietnamese War. Monsanto reached a settlement with the town of Nitro, West Virginia, agreeing to pay $93 million for damages, cleanup, and ongoing monitoring of dioxin contamination in the area around a plant where Agent Orange was made. After 7 years of litigation in 2013, on November 21st, 2019, Monsanto pled guilty to unlawfully sprayed a banned pesticide, as it had sprayed Pencap M at its Valley Farm research facility on Maui in 2014. Monsanto admitted as part of the plea that it had Valley Farm workers return to the sprayed field after 7 days, despite knowing that they should have been prohibited from entering for 31 days. The company agreed to pay a fine of $10 million in exchange for deferred prosecution of the storage and transportation charges. In 2005, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a deferred prosecution agreement in which Monsanto admitted to violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and making false entries into its books and records. Monsanto also agreed to pay a $1.5 million fine. The case involved bribes paid to an Indonesian official. As recently As December 2023, a jury in Washington state ordered buyers who purchased Monsanto to pay $857 million to former students and parent volunteers of a school northeast of Seattle who claimed chemicals made by the company called PCBs leaked from light fixtures and got them sick, according to an attorney for the plaintiffs. In South Africa, Monsanto's introduction of bogus, drought-tolerant maize raised alarms. The African Center for Biodiversity challenged Monsanto's claims, viewing them also as a Trojan horse that threatened local seed systems and environmental well-being. Accusations of colonizing South Africa's food system with risky GMOs sparked debates. As the seeds of discontent grow, the continent grapples with the impact of Monsanto's influence on agriculture. The quest for sustainable farmer-centric solutions persists, urging governments and communities to navigate the delicate balance between progress and preservation. With a history of poisoning societies, bribing government officials, Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, should be viewed as a business riddled in chaos.